Kind of fast, kind of not. Either way, always running or talking about it. Welcome to the Kind of Fast podcast, powered by Upward Running. Let's get into it.
Hello there. Do you ever feel like you're kind of on fire and kind of completely burned out? Well, you're not alone. Welcome to the Kind of Fast podcast, where we keep it real about running, training, life, and faith.
This week, we're talking about burnout, what it looks like, how it sneaks up on you, and how to reset in running or life when it hits you too much, this burnout.
We're also talking about some major wild running news, including a huge suspension that just happened in the world of elite marathoning. We're also going to give you guys a quick update on what's happening with Upward Running and our church group side of the program.
So whether you're training for your next race, you're stuck in a rut, or just here for the stories, we're glad you're tuning in. We appreciate you.
Okay, before we get into the main part of the episode, we have to talk about what's happening with Upward Running in the church group side of things, because honestly, I don't think we've ever actually gone into much detail about the Upward Running church group.
Yeah, it's how Mitchell's original ministry, Run for God, started off through the church groups. And essentially, you have a collection of individuals that come together. They are encouraging with each other. They are doing some biblical studies together, and they're working towards a 5K together as a group. And it's been something that's been replicated across the country many, many times. And it's something that we offer as well. And so sometimes if you're a longtime runner, this could be a way to kind of give back to the sport, to reach people in your community, and to share the love of Jesus through the sport of running.
What's really cool about this is as of this month, we actually have a little over 30 churches who are participating in the Upward Running church group part, which is fascinating to me. I love to see people start from a beginning stage and then cross their very first 5K finish line. It's incredible. These groups meet once a week for 12 weeks, so you have plenty of time to work from a walk run to running your first 5K. They get together to train, pray. We have equipped the run coaches with devotion. It's a really special time.
Yeah, and they get to really learn about how to do it safely as well. So a lot of the first couple of weeks talks about, what type of shoes you might need and what to look for in a running shoe for you, or what are the most common injuries, overuse injuries, or doing it too fast type injuries. Those are some things that if you can teach a little bit of what to look for on those things, maybe you can avoid it the first time you're kind of getting into that. And so we say it's for anyone because, to do this, you need some people who have done it before as well, to be encouraging to these people and to kind of go along the ride with them. We're actually hosting a webinar. It's free, July 29th. You can learn all about how this works, ask questions, see how easy it is to get started. Could be a great place just to learn more about our church model, as we call it, through Upward Running. We'd love to see you host something this fall or maybe even the beginning of next year. It'd be a great thing for your community.
Yeah, that's a good thought, Travis. We would love to have you guys. So if you want to register, it is free. I'll drop the link in the show notes, or you can go to either the Upward Running website or upward.org/runcoach to learn more. And while we're talking about the webinar, we're actually giving away a $200 grant live on that webinar for participants to start their church groups. And they can use that $200 for shirts, for medals, for the 5K challenge book, really whatever will help them launch a successful class.
Yeah, helps you get going. And all of these things are meant to be self-sustaining ministries of the church. And so shouldn't be really any money that comes from, the budget of a church. And that's what we try to do through Upward Sports in general with all of our sports. It's supposed to be self-sustaining, where the participants kind of pay for the programming itself. And this is just like all the other ones.
Thank you, Travis. Okay, last week I mentioned a DNF on the podcast, and I was re-watching that podcast, which is still weird, by the way. And I was like, wait a minute. Some people might not know what a DNF is. So it's one of those running terms that runners throw around like everyone knows what it is. But if you're new to racing or to the sport in general, we're going to help you out a little bit. It might sound like total nonsense at the moment.
It's kind of sounds like a typo, or we're missing some letters in there. But let's break it down in our favorite news segment. What does that even mean?
Okay, so a DNF stands for did not finish, and it shows up in the race results for whatever reason you start the race, but you don't cross the finish line of that race.
And there are many reasons why you might have a DNF. Could be injury, illness, weather, getting cut off at a checkpoint. One of my great friends from high school was doing his first half Ironman, 70-mile half Ironman. He'd worked so hard for so long. He'd gone from basically someone who could barely tread water to doing enough swimming to finish the swim portion of that in the race. And this is a collegiate runner once upon a time. So good runner. He's not way off, but the thunderstorm came up. And with less than a mile to go, they stopped the race and he was not able to finish. And he got a DNF officially in the race, even though he was absolutely going to finish and there was nothing he could do about it. So those type things do come up from time to time.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
I 100% would have cried. Not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
Not even gonna lie. That can be a really tough pill to swallow, especially if it happens in some of those circumstances. I cannot even imagine. I mean, he trained for months.
Oh, he learned to like lap swim and all of that
Wow.
for this race specifically. And so in the end, he learned a lot about himself and was able to achieve a great thing, but wasn't able to finish that day.
Well, I mean, that goes to show that getting a DNF is more common than we might think. It happens to even elite athletes sometimes as well. It doesn't mean that you're weak per se. I mean, it just means that you listen to your body, the weather happened. It could be for multiple reasons.
Yep. Here's one thing I will say that I think is a cautionary piece on this, because you can be overly toxic positivity on this thing too. You don't want to get in a habit of DNFing though. And I think once you do it once, it makes it easier to do it a second and third and fourth time in the future. So there should be some weight to it. Like if you are going to DNF, there needs to be a real reason that you are doing that. And basically, it's the smartest thing for your body or for the day if you are making the decision to step off the course and do that. I've DNF'd twice that I can remember. Have you ever done a DNF in a race?
I have not, but now I need to know what happened with you.
The latest one was when I was 21 or something. And so a long time ago, it was injury related as well. But in 2021, I trained for the CIM Marathon, California International Marathon. That's in Sacramento, California. And I got terrible Achilles tendonitis, or you might call it tendinopathy. At this point in time, my Achilles had got like twice as big as what it should be. It was something that I was trying to manage my way through just to get to the race line, because I was in great shape. I just needed to have the result that I really wanted, that I'm still chasing to this day, to be honest. And I had a real setback about a month before the race and didn't run that many times going into it, and knew was a possibility that it was not going to be a good race for me. And so through about 13, 14 miles, felt pretty good. Like my Achilles was holding up pretty well. My legs had some pop to it, and I was feeling good about where I was in the race. But those last 3 miles or so of the race, it was getting worse and worse and worse on every step, to the point to where I basically couldn't even push off of my toes. I was just kind of hitting on my heel on that one side and trying to make it through. And I got to a point to where I was 10 miles out from the finish line. I didn't know if I could actually just walk to the end. I didn't know if that was physically possible to do that. And so I told a bunch of people, I'll know if it's time to step off the course. And it was time. So I pulled a DNF there and didn't finish the race. And so I think it was one of those where I had a peace over myself, because there's nothing else I could do. I'd done everything I could, given this injury, to figure out how to get to the race start and to give it a go and give it my best effort. And in the end, my body just couldn't handle it. And so pulled a DNF there, started the rehab a few weeks later, and worked my way back back into shape from there. But yeah, it happens to all of us.
Well, now
or not you, maybe, but it's happened to me.
I hope it doesn't happen to anybody. But if it does, listen to your body. So, question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Should you have started that race?
Yeah, for me, you go back to one of the questions you asked me a few weeks ago, which was, would you rather have a healthy season or a PR? And I answered, incredible question. I answered, I'd rather have the PR. And that's just my mentality in the season I'm in right now. I want to get everything I can out of this time in my life and see how fast I can still run and push myself to the edge and hopefully achieve great things as part of it. And so I was trying to run a Boston qualifier. I thought if I could run the race that I'm in shape for, I would have had that in that race. And so I gave it a go. If I was in a different season of life where it was more about health and just consistent fitness and that type of thing, that would have been a time to not do it and to play it safe. But that was not the decision for that day.
Well, you learned a lot along the way.
For sure.
Now everybody knows officially what a DNF is.
Mm-hmm.
So there we have it. DNF did not finish.
All right, so big news this week in the running world. The world record holder for the women's marathon, she got banned for 2 years for a banned substance. Her name's Ruth Chepngetich, and so she holds the women's world record and will continue to hold that. That was something I learned in leading up to this, is the substance that she tested for today does not disqualify her marathon from last year from being an official rule marathon. The bonuses, the money she made, the accolades she got from that still all exist. She just has a 2-year ban starting today.
I don't know if I agree with that decision because I don't know if I agree with that, because if she was using this drug and I will butcher this just so everybody knows, I will butcher this. It is called hydrochlorothiazide. Hard.
That's how sounds good to me.
She was banned for that, which is actually a diuretic, and it's not so much that this specific drug enhances your performance, but it masks whatever you are taking.
Correct.
So if she got banned for that now, who's to say she wasn't taking something crazy back then?
And the thing is, she got banned for 2 years because it's only a masking agent that she got caught with. If she'd got caught with the actual thing she was trying to mask, it would have been a longer or maybe even a lifetime ban, depending on what it kind of was there. And so she's getting off pretty easy here. Here's, as I think back, I remember when this world record happened, and it was like a wow moment. And I'm going to take a moment here and talk a little bit about that, how we got there, and how in the moment a lot of people in the running world thought, ooh, I'm not sure about that one. So she's known this was coming for a few months now. She actually was in the London Marathon field this spring and withdrew and had some response of like she just wasn't in the right place mentally to do it or something like that. She had already been notified that she had tested positive for this. It just wasn't public knowledge yet. And so her world record will, as I mentioned, is going to continue to stand. I totally disagree with that. Once you test positive for something like this, and it's only been a year or maybe a year and a half now since that world record stood, I think that's too close to say, all right, that's clean, but now you've done something wrong. I just think that's the wrong way of doing it. So this result, always questionable, as I mentioned, and here's why I say that. And let me just give you a little bit of background on her career. I looked this up this morning. In 2017, she ran a 2:22 marathon. Great marathon. Lots of Americans and people around the world want to run a 2:22 marathon. That's the elite of the women field. So great time there. 2:22, 2017. 2018, she ran 2:18. All right, so she ran one, and she goes to run another one, lowers it by 4 minutes. That's a great next, that's a gap that we can understand marathon 1 to marathon 2. 2019 lowers it another minute, goes to 2:17. 2020 runs at 2:22. All right, so we're back up a little bit, but all in this range. And we know the world was odd in 2020, right? And so understandable that maybe your training was off or you didn't get to run a great course or something like that. And so runs 2:22. Follows that up in 2021, runs 2:22 again. All right. All these make sense. They seem to fit together. But in 2022, she dropped it to 2:14. That's a big gap. That's 8 minutes from her previous 2 marathons. That's like how about that? And then the next year, 2023, she runs 2:15. All right, so she's back to back, pretty good times. Maybe she's had some type of breakthrough. One of the best that's ever done it in those kind of time frames. But the following year, 2024, last year, she drops that all the way to 2:09.56. First woman ever to break 2:10. That's just too big of a jump, in my opinion. She broke the previous world record by 1:56. Like, that's no small feat. 2 minutes faster than the world record had ever been done. She did that. When she came through the half marathon mat of that day, it was the 5th fastest half marathon ever run.
Wow.
All those other ones stopped. She still had another half marathon to go in the race. So just an unbelievable start. I remember after this race, like, that was a stat of like, how is that even possible that you've run the 5th fastest half marathon of all time and you still had another half marathon to go? That was just crazy. So anyway, it's these big jumps that always make you go, is this real? If you remember back to a podcast we did a few weeks ago where we talked about Faith Kipyegon trying to go from 4:08 to sub 4 in the Nike project there where she's trying to break that mile time for women. And she did everything she could to run 1 second faster to 4:07 in that race. To me, that seems real. I mean, when you've got perfect conditions with perfect pacers and new shoes and new attire and the perfect training plan and the perfect buildup, and you cut a second off in the mile, I get it. If she'd have run sub 4, I think I would have had the same reaction that Ruth Chepngetich did in 2024, where she broke the world record by 2 minutes. Like, ooh, I'm not sure. That's a big jump there. And so I actually find that Faith's run that she had a couple weeks ago to be more noble, more impressive, all of that, because I believe it more than some of these other races that we see out there.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Faith even said that going forward, she hopes to shave just a second off per year.
Right.
That makes so much more sense than just shaving off 6 to 8 seconds in one race. And 6 to 8 seconds might not sound like a long time, but in the running world, that is a lot. People at the finish lines of some of these races, they just kind of throw themselves over the finish line so they can finish faster. But oh man, this truly is some big news. And if we're being honest, I am disappointed.
Yep.
I am just disappointed as an athlete.
It makes you wonder when you're watching these professionals who, hey, they do the same thing we do every day. They run, they train, they try to get the most out of their body. But when you see something like this and you go, can I believe that? Is that real? And then it turns out not to be real. It's really disappointing. So we should say, I'm sure she's going to appeal this. And I'm guessing that this process is not completely finished as it relates to the World Athletic Doping. But she tested 190% over the allowable limit of this specific masking agent. I have a hard time believing that this won't stand and she'll get that 2-year ban.
I agree. Ruth, if you're listening to this, come clean. Like, just own up. In my opinion, I think it would look so much better for her to own up to her mistakes and then move forward.
Yeah, and if you're going to do that, tell us who else you're involved with. Where are you getting this? Is it coming from a coach or a doctor or some other people? Like, let's clean up the sport so we don't have these things continue to happen.
Yep, it's a good reminder. So whether you're running 5Ks, world majors, what we do in training and recovery matters. In clean sport matters. Integrity. Keyword here, integrity matters.
All right, let's move on to burnout, topic of the day here.
Yep, not everybody talks about burnout on your Strava feed, that's for sure. I never title a run, I am burnt out today.
I have not either. And it can sneak up on you. One day you're crushing it in your training plan, and the next day you kind of feel like, why does lacing up feel like a chore? And so that's a early sign. Maybe you're moving towards burnout.
Yeah, it's more than just being tired, though. It's like your body, your brain, and your joy are all waving little flags like, hey, I'm tired. What are you doing?
So you came up with 5 things through doing some talks with Coach Dean and some other research here. I think these are really good ways to see if you are burnt out and what are the stages of that and what are the signs of that. So what's your first one you've got here for us?
Yeah, burnout sign number 1. You are consistently exhausted, but you can't sleep at night. So this is a big one. You're dragging all day, but the moment your head hits a pillow, your mind is going into overdrive. You feel wired but tired, and that is me every night. That's probably red flag number 1, Claire.
All right. If you've got a red flag on that one, I can tell you on sign number 2 here, there was a time in my life where this absolutely was a sign for me. So running feels like a burden and it's not a joy. Remember when running felt like your escape, burnout flips that. You dread your workouts, you're forcing every mile, and it's all have to and not want to. For me, this is my last college racing season. Like I knew there was a pending end to that racing season, and I wanted to get everything out of myself that I could of that last chance to run with a team, run in college and all those type of things. And at the end of the season, completely burnt out, just didn't want to lace up at all, and was ready to set it down. And in fact, I did for about 10 years after that. So that was a time in my life where running was not fun.
Stay tuned though, because we're going to talk about how to combat that.
Sure.
But before we do, sign number 3, you're unusually moody or irritable. So little things set you off. You're more emotional than normal. And this can be about running. This could be about just normal everyday life too.
Yeah. My wife said last weekend that was me. I had just run 17 miles in the heat of South Carolina, and so maybe that was playing into it. But hey, when I read your notes here, I thought, well, hey, that's a sign I need to be aware of and to pay attention to. So sign number 4, you're getting sick or injured more often. Your immune system takes a hit when you're physically and mentally drained. Little aches become full-blown injuries. Head colds stick around longer. Your body's waving a flag. It's not cheering you on. It's saying, please chill. So has this ever happened to you?
It has happened to me 100% when I just can't shake a simple head cold, but I'm still training and I'm still working and I'm still doing all the things, not taking any break, no rest for the weary over here. 100% it adds probably two-ish weeks to my what could have been done in a week cold. But sign number 5, you're losing motivation in everything, not just running, like I mentioned earlier. Burnout doesn't stay in one lane. You might feel unmotivated at work, distant in relationships, even disconnected spiritually. Like you're going through the motions, but nothing is firing. And to be very honest, I think we've all been here at some point in time. We've all been here. It's a very natural thing because it's 2025. We are going in overdrive, trying to get things done, keep moving. We don't rest very well.
Yeah. So if you hear these 5 signs and one of these is something you're dealing with right now, proceed with caution. If 2 of these or more are coming up in your training right now and you're noticing these things, well, maybe this next article will be able to help you out on how to handle that or what what ways you can take that on.
Yeah, I was doing some research and an article from the Trail Running magazine popped up, and it really hit all these on the head, but put it into more relatable language that I could understand. So I wanted to walk you through a few little excerpts today because, listen, this stuff matters whether you're running marathons or, just trying to get into a routine again.
So the article dives into the actual science of burnout and what's happening in your body. Here's a quote from Kieran Abbott, a PhD student studying human physiology. He says, there's functional overreaching where you push your body and then recover, and that makes you stronger. And then there's non-functional overreaching, which feels the same, but if you're not giving yourself enough recovery, that's where the damage starts.
And that is the crazy part. So your training can look exactly the same on the outside. Big workouts, long runs, hustle. But if you're not recovering, you're breaking yourself down instead of building it up.
Basically, without rest, your body literally stops adapting and starts falling apart. You can't always feel this shift happening in real time, but eventually an injury or fatigue or just a mental shutdown creeps in. And sometimes, I've heard coaches say, your body will get its recovery in time, whether you give it to it or whether your body forces that recovery through an injury. And so I think that's what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm really glad that your coach said that. And it actually leads to a story from Kat Bradley, who is a Western States winner. Kat said after her big win, she felt like she had a gun to her back. Even when she took time off, the pressure didn't stop. She said after a while, it led to burnout. I had to take a mental break.
Yeah, that line, gun to her back, man, like sometimes it's not the physical training wearing us down. It's the pressure. It's the expectations. It's the life outside of running that we're really trying to juggle and stay on top of. Again, my last year of college, that gun to my back, that's a great mentality of what I felt like. For me, it was about I only have these 3 months left in my young team-based, training that I'm ever going to have again. I'm never going to run with a collection of guys towards a collective goal of trying to win our conference or, make a regional team or something like that. And so that was the gun that I felt to my back that was adding all the pressure as I went into that last season.
Yeah, self-inflicted pressure at that too. Now you did have later in the article, Kat goes to say, when the body is enduring stress, it doesn't know or care what the cause is. We can't put our life into silos, so we can't put our burnout into silos. And that right there is why some weeks running feels impossible, even if your mileage looks normal, because the life stress counts.
Yeah, this is something that I had never reflected on at all until the last year or two. We talked openly about me having several injuries in the last few years. And I've thought about, all right, when those happened, what else was happening in my life outside of training? And I think stressful times at work or at home or other things, sometimes there is a correlation there between other things going on in my life on top of heavy training that may have contributed to some of those injuries. I do like this part from the article. Sally McRae, she said that Americans are really bad at resting, and she literally takes 2 months off after her race season every year. It's a good idea there.
That is a good idea. The thought of taking 2 months off just seems really difficult. Really, really difficult. And that's where I have to come into play with this article where it says Americans are really bad at resting. It's me.
Yeah.
Hi. I'm the problem. It's me.
Sure.
But we do need to normalize some off seasons for everyday runners too. Maybe not 2 months for myself personally, because I think I would spiral into.
Well, maybe reframe it.
Okay.
Maybe off isn't not running. Maybe it's completely unstructured running. There's no training plan. There's nothing you have to accomplish that week. So instead of like right now, I think you're hitting 35-ish miles per week, and that's a goal you're trying to hit every week. If you had no goal for the week and you could run as much or as little as you wanted, maybe that turns out to be 20 miles with, 4 5-mile runs or something like that. But it's completely at your leisure that would accomplish the same thing that I think we're talking about of it being off. It's just unstructured and at your leisure.
And when you put it like that, that seems doable.
Yeah.
That seems way more doable. Sandy Nypaver, one of the coaches in the article, said something I think we all need to hear. The plan is never set in stone. It's meant to be adjusted. And that part to me was freeing. So recovery doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise.
One coach told me once, one run, this need to be pounded in my head. I did not need to hear this once. I had to hear it 10 times before I got it. One run will never make a season, but one run could break a season. And so if you are extremely stressed and on the verge of burnout and you still go and do that hard workout at max pace and it calls for 4 to 7 reps and you do 7, all of them 10 seconds faster than you're supposed to, that's where you can really run into some problems there. So I think that's what the article is kind of pointing to there, of sometimes you need to adjust. I can remember a time, maybe last year, I got held up flying back home from a work trip. And so I had a track workout the next morning. And so I didn't actually get to the house till like 1:30 in the morning. And so, but alarm goes off at 5:30, time to go get my workout in. I think it was summertime then. So like you get it done then, or you do it in 100 degrees later on. And I remember warming up that morning and thinking back to what my coaches had said in the past and saying, all right, this feels like a moment where I could break myself and I'm certainly not going to make it today. And so I remember backing off and holding that workout for a different day. And so I think that's a good place to consider that.
Preach, Travis.
There
You
we
are
go.
on a roll today.
This is one that I am not the master of yet. I am trying to become a master of this, but always trying to learn so I can avoid the next injury.
There is no medal for burnout, but there is a lot of reward in longevity, joy, and actually loving the sport that we all participate in.
Whether you're on fire or kind of burn out, maybe today is the day to step back and ask, am I giving myself space to rest, to enjoy, to breathe? Is this what I need to be doing today for where I am with my body? Where am I at in the season? I think that matters too. If you're early on in a season, much more flexible. If you're late and it's 4 weeks out from a race and you got a big workout, and that workout might really matter in the middle of a marathon cycle, and you might have to hunker down and do it. But 98% of the rest of the year, it doesn't matter as much. You can be flexible with that.
That's actually a really good transition to talk about what should we actually do about burnout.
Burnout isn't something you can outrun or ignore. It takes intention, and sometimes it takes doing less, not more.
Here are a few different ways that we can help you and ourselves, for that matter, combat burnout. Travis, kick us off.
Reconnect to your why. Burnout can make us forget why we even started. Was it so that you could be healthy, or was it to be active and moving again? Was it to sign up for a race and see what you can do? For me, my why is to prove I still got it, that I can still go out there and achieve hard things. And so connecting back to my why is always very important there. You need to take a step back and remember it isn't just about the miles. It's about why I'm doing this in the first place.
The next one, as I was planning for this episode, I made myself read this one because I need to pound it into my head. Are we ready? I'm not ready to say it out loud, but take an off season. Yes, really an off season. And just like Travis was mentioning earlier, it doesn't have to be completely off, not doing anything. It could just be leisurely running. Even the elites take downtime, which is great to see. I would like to know what exactly they're doing in their downtime. So if you're an elite runner and listening to this, DM me, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, take an off season. My off season right now is just non-existent. But after my race in October, I will definitely be on the off-season train.
I'm trying to think about this more. in recent years. So this year came back from a stress fracture at the beginning of the year, had this long kind of slow build up, adding about 3 miles per week until I got back to a place where I could feel good about where my mileage was. And so I went on vacation at the end of the school year and basically didn't run for the week. And that was kind of my reset point to kind of say, all right, the build is done as far as building back to where I can start training again. So we can get into marathon training from there. For me, October 19th is the big race day. I would think following that until the end of the year this year was probably going to be fairly unstructured. If I can make it there in one piece, I will be thankful that I have, and I will pay back the time with less structured things the rest of the year. Obviously staying active and staying moving, but on purpose, not really planning much until we turn the new year again.
Which is perfect, because the next point is to actually listen to your body. And if your body is hopefully uninjured or injured, I mean, that gives you a perfect opportunity to tap in and check and see what's going on with yourself.
Yep, your body knows, your spirit knows. If you're dragging or snappy or empty, it's okay to pause. And that pause might look different for everyone. Maybe it's fewer miles. Maybe it's less structure. Maybe it's more sleep. Maybe it's actually saying no to things that you normally push through. Maybe it's a full stop. I know you mentioned, what do elites do or professionals do? A lot of them take full stops, especially after marathons, for a few weeks of just absolutely nothing, trying to let their body recover before they start again. So that's a part of what most of these cycles include.
I'll have to add it in. We'll see. I also added this next point as a Claire, get this in your head. Honor the rest days in your training plan. Full, complete confession time. I do not do this at all very well. At all. When it says rest day, I'm either doing active recovery or sneaking in a little 5K, because what could that hurt, right? I mean, it's slower, but I need to rest. I need to rest. You need to rest.
If you think about the Couch to Marathon program that Upward Running has, it is a 58-week program, not 52. And it's because in between each one of their 12-week cycles, they give a 2-week break of kind of unstructured recovery time there. So it's built into our training plans, and any of the training plans out there are going to have off days. Those are not suggestions. They're actually part of training on purpose so that you can recover. And I'll note, like, it depends on where you are in your running journey as to how important that exactly is. If you listen to our other podcast, the Upward Running podcast, Coach Dean talks about his multi-year run streak that he's got going, but he also has, let's call it, multi-decades of running on his legs. And so that works best for him. He certainly has slower days, less mileage days, those type of things that he's incorporating in. But rest days, very important, and something that is key to do within your training.
I'll do better. I promise. I have all of you guys going to hold me accountable to make sure we do rest days.
Good. All right, so we asked our national running coach, I just mentioned him, Dean Thompson, to weigh in on this, and he had some good takes here. He said, burnout is often a catch-all term, and sometimes the issue isn't actually running itself. It's everything else around it.
Yeah, he said, for example, if you're ultra busy, it might not be that you've fallen out of love with running. It's that trying to fit running into your schedule is absolutely exhausting. And that's a different kind of burnout than just not wanting to go on your run.
Exactly. Yep. Dean said the key is figuring out the why. Are you burned out mentally or physically? Or maybe something that he calls physically adjacent.
He said things like poor sleep, not fueling properly, being dehydrated, or even running your easy runs too hard can all feel like burnout. But really, they're just bad habits that lead to the sluggish, why do I even run feeling? And if we're being honest, I have had that feeling before.
Sure. So start by fixing the root issue. Don't assume you've fallen out of love with running if your legs just feel like garbage. Because if you've been skipping rest days or eating Pop-Tarts for dinner, or Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I'm called out. Girl dinner.
So Seriously, he said that people believe they're physically spent even when they're not. And that's why it's so important to slow down, check in, be honest about what's really going on, and addressing the issue before it gets too bad.
And if it turns out you're just tired of the effort running takes, then that is okay too. Dean suggests finding ways to rekindle your motivation. Put a post-it note on your mirror. Schedule your runs like an appointment. Keep a log or read a running book. Reconnect with your why and why you started. Something that I do is I schedule my hard runs that I know are going to be more mentally taxing for me. I schedule them like a meeting because I would not show up to a meeting with my boss. I mean, that would just look terrible. So if I'm not going to not show up for a meeting with my boss, why would I not show up for myself?
That's a great thing that a lot of people probably should incorporate. I like that idea. I thought of a couple other things here that might help you reconnect. Maybe it's signing up for a race. Maybe you don't have something that you're really working towards, and so signing up for a race would light that fire again for you. Or maybe it's join a run club, whether that's locally there in your town. I'm sure there's probably a run club that you could join and meet up with people weekly. Maybe there's a Upward Running church group that you could seek out and find. Or you could join us virtually through the Upward Run Club app and start getting the community that we have as part of the app as a way to reconnect to running again.
All right, we're almost done with this episode.
Yeah, before we wrap up, let's check in. What's your training look like this week?
Full accountability moment here. I have 100% decided to run the Spinks half marathon in October. It's October 25th, so a week after your full marathon.
Okay.
I've committed to the half marathon. I really want a PR, and my stretch goal, maybe I should just say goal, my goal is to finish under 150.
So Spinks Marathon in my hometown that I grew up in Greenville, South Carolina. One that I've never done before. You're doing the half marathon.
Mhm.
I think that is great there. A goals only. That's what we're doing. No B goals. This is an A goal, sub 150.
Yep.
So, got to know what's your current PR.
Oh, I think it's a 213.
213. So you're going to have a Ruth Chepngetich type huge jump here from 213 to sub 150. I love that. I looked up what the per mile pace is for sub 150.
Okay.
It is 8:25 per mile. What do you feel when I say that?
Scared.
Do you?
A little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Because the last two races I did a 10K and a recent 5K. My 5K pace was a 7:30, and I was holding on for dear life. But that's a whole minute above that.
Yeah,
so it's doable.
I think that the calculator would say that's in the same vein there. Yeah.
I hope it's cool. Because
it should be that time of year.
Running in the heat right now, in the humidity, I feel like I've never run before in my life. I'm running a full minute to 2 minutes slower. Like, am I going to be able to do this?
This is the doubting time of year for sure, but it's going to come around. And I think I have full confidence you're going to meet this goal. I think you're running better than you ever have, according to what you've been kind of telling me. Your training's been super consistent, and just follow that upward running plan that you're on, and you're going to be in good shape.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to train smart. I will take my rest days. I was looking at myself in the camera saying that.
That's right.
So what's going on with you this week?
Just another up week for me. I've got a vacation coming up this weekend, so I'm getting all my runs in in the first part of the week this week, so I can have the weekend off. So 18 miles, but I'm gonna do it at the beach, flat.
Yeah.
18 miles on Friday, and just putting in the mileage. Still feel great. I feel joyous and thankful to be healthy at this point in time in the season, and just progressing on towards that goal in October.
That's great. Enjoy your running at the beach, because that's the best running, in my opinion.
Yeah, to get that flat running, that'd be fun.
Well, with that, our time is up. Whether you're running strong or feeling a little burned out, whether you're crushing your workouts or learning to rest well, we are so glad that you spent your miles with us today. And don't forget, this podcast is powered by Upward Running, a community built to help you run with purpose, stay motivated, and find your people. Remember, Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are weary," not "come to me after you've run 10 miles and crushed your to-do list. So if you're feeling tired, it's okay to rest. That's where the grace steps in. As always, this journey is more than miles. God is in every step. The good runs, the tough days, the bad days. He is there, and it matters to him, all of it. He is with you, he is for you, and he's using this season to grow something deeper in you.
At Upward Running, this is where faith and fitness meet, and we'd love to run with you. Join us at upwardrunning.com/kindofast. That's upwardrunning.com/kindofast. And if you use the code KINDOFAST, you'll get 2 weeks free. And it'd be a big help to us to see that you heard about us on the podcast and signed up. We'd appreciate that.
We will be back next Friday with another episode, and this one you do not want to miss. We're going to talk about how to know when it's time to call it in a workout. This was actually one of Travis's ideas, and that's what we're going to run with for next Friday.
So I'm hoping that you've got some great advice, or Coach Dean has some great advice, because I'm still trying to learn when to push through and when to call it. So it'll be a good episode to kind of talk through that and see what we have in store for you. So if you've enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps us out more than you know. Keep showing up, keep running your race, the one God has marked out just for you.
Bye.
See ya.
You didn't say this part. Bye. It's in the script. Some of these participants haven't even walked before, mainly. So it's really cool. I mean, they walked before. They can walk.
Well, you should probably do that.
They've never even walked before. I am doing terrible today. Bye.